Hello everyone, Step here for gathering information, and we are back for week 2 of the Commander 2018 unboxing videos, along with deck tech and comparison analysis. And this week we are covering Adaptive Enchantment, starring Estrid the Masked. So, we are going to go through the entire deck and lay it out and check out what's going on, and then we'll talk about how this compares to other previous Commander products. So let's go to the video. And here we have the packaged product, Commander Adaptive Enchantment. It is Bant, green, white, blue. And in the back we've got, join the fray, choose your commander, and carve your path to victory in this unique multiplayer Magic format. Call on powerful planeswalkers and deploy their signature strategies to make sure you are the last player standing. Adaptive Enchantment. Estrid wears many faces, only occasionally wearing her own. Her arsenal of enchanted masks lets her shift seamlessly between the powers and fighting styles of countless creatures to adapt to enemy tactics. So, let's open this thing up and crunch. Yeah, and see what we've got inside. So, as before, we've got the oversized commander card, Estrid the Masked. 1 green, white, blue for a legendary planeswalker, Estrid. A 3 loyalty. She is a +2. Untap each enchanted permanent you control. Okay. -1. Create a white aura enchantment token named Masked attached to another target permanent. The token has enchant permanent and token armor. And -7. Put the top 7 cards of your library into your graveyard. Return all non-aura enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then do the same for aura cards. And of course, Estrid the Mask can be your commander. So that -7 seems very powerful. First you get all of your enchantment creatures, and then you get the auras to attach them. I do like the, it doesn't say on her what totem armor is, but I'm sure it'll say so on the tokens. So, here we have the insert again, and I will cut to the insert now. Okay, so here we have Estrid the Masked, and she looks pretty cool. Estrid, constantly striving for self-perfection, Estrid fashions magical masks that imbue her with the strength and skills of the creatures they represent. Calm and collected in times of danger, Estrid takes pride in her flexibility. She is always ready with the right face and set of talents for whatever challenges she encounters. As Estrid journeys through the multiverse, she seeks mighty creatures with unique fighting styles and weaves their powers into her masks. So, I don't know where she's from, but she looks pretty cool. She looks like... See, she doesn't look like she's from Tarkir, but she sounds a lot like a Jeskai, so I don't know. But if we then move to Kestia, she's definitely from Theros, as you can see. Kestia the Cultivator. The nymphs of Theros are associated with the wilds of nature, lush plains, verdant forests, and rushing waters. Kestia is a unique creation of the gods, and the cultivated fields that sustain human lives are her domain. A benevolent steward of the earth's bounty, she oversees fertile fields, crop growth, and irrigation. She definitely looks like a Therosian. Next up, and final of the commanders, we have Tuvasa, the Sunlit. Among the river heralds of Ixalan, most shamans feel close affinity with the winds and waters, or with the verdant growth of the jungle. Tuvasa believes the light of the sun is the power that unites them both, giving life to plants and warming coastal waters. So a little bit of of white in with the green and blue of the Ixalan merfolk. That's interesting to me. And finally, I have they have one more legend that's kind of featured here. It's not a possible commander because it's only a blue-green card, but it is an interesting story point. We have Arixmethes, Slumbering Isle. The Kraken Arixmethes is so large that he is frequently mistaken for an island. While he slumbered, an entire city was built on his back. When he awakened, as the planeswalker Kiora battled the sea god Thassa, he wrought destruction beyond any the hapless citizens of the island had ever known. So this is a callback to a story from when Theros was in Standard. And the card looks pretty cool. Now, on the back, of course, we have Commander, Adaptive Enchantment. Primary Commander, Estrid the Masked. Secondary Commanders, Kestia the Cultivator, Tuvasa the Sunlit. Playing the deck, Adaptive Enchantment is all about playing enchantments. Your goal should be to craft a well of magical wards while enhancing your own creatures with powerful auras. By defending yourself with protective enchantments and attacking with huge creatures, you can defeat one opponent at a time while they struggle to defend themselves on all sides. And with the 3 possible commanders, few planeswalkers know more about the power of enchantments than Estrid the Masked. While playing with Estrid, you're going to want to enchant as many of your permanents as possible to take full advantage of her ability to untap enchanted permanents. No auras in your hand? No problem. Her mask tokens provide protective totem armor for your creatures, making them durable threats. In a pinch, you can even put masks on your lands, so that her first ability can generate mana. Ooh, that's an interesting little side benefit. Now, if you don't like Estrid, the Planeswalker, you can try Kestia, the Cultivator. You can try your hand at beating down with Kestia. Your deck's auras and enchantment creatures make for a potent offense, and the card flow Kestia creates can give you a bounty of options. As the first legendary creature with Bestow, Kestia is particularly durable. Your opponents will need more than one removal spell to slow Kestia down. Don't be afraid to be aggressive. That's exciting, although it is it's going to be 6 mana before you can bestow her the first time, I think. Anyway, I'm super excited to try those out. Also, we have between Estrid's long game and Kestia's quicker offensive style, there's Tuvasa the Sunlit. Designed to command Enchantress decks, Tuvasa ensures you can access a steady stream of enchantments after turn. Build your board up slowly, drawing the maximum number of cards, then start pressuring opponents once your commander is big enough to threaten lethal damage. So, gives you many options. Also, we've got the rules for playing commander, and their little advertisements. This is, of course, the commander we'll be dealing with next week, but for now, let's get back to the deck. Okay, so, nice thick deck with the same card as in the other one. And we already read Estrid, so we won't go over her again, but she is pretty. Alright, Kestia the Cultivator. 1 green, white, blue for a 4/4 legendary enchantment creature nymph. She has Bestow for, 6 mana. Enchanted creature gets +4/+4. Whenever enchanted creature or enchantment creature you control attacks, draw a card. That's for each of them. Tuvasa the Sunlit is simply Bant for a 1/1 Merfolk Shaman. Tuvasa the Sunlit gets +1/+1 where each enchantment you control, and whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, Draw a card. So, your own personal Howling Mind, I'm guessing. Ooh, tokens. So those are the mask tokens. Let's have a closer look. So there's Totem Armor. If enchanted permanent would be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it and destroy the aura. Horrors. Something in the deck makes horrors. Okay. And beasts. That's not a surprise. Lots of beasts. Soldiers. Interesting. That's a Bant soldier. That's a cat from... That's a classic cat. And also a classic angel. I don't know where they were first from, but they're old school. Alright. On to the deck. I have one of those loyal creatures. The loyal unicorn. Alright, we'll curve this all out later. I just kind of want to get a good look at each of the cards, if possible. Unquestioned authority. Archetype of Imagination, Eel Umbra. There's one of those totem armors. Removal. A Gnarlid. That's a Gnarlid. Some ramp. Enchantment removal, in case your opponent has enchantments. Ah, there's an enchantress. Bant Charm. Sol Ring, eh? And some random lands. Okay. There's one of the new cards. Yep. We will play this all out. Ugh. Ah, there's Araxmithes. Ooh, a Bruna. Johnny's chosen, sure. Some of the better enchantment creatures. Couple of Wraths. Dictate of Crufix. Another Totem Armor. Ooh. Eidolon of Blossoms. I played that in my standard deck. Here's some Make Some Beasts. Cold-Eyed Selkie. Daxos. Awesome. Finest Hour. Ooh, Exalted. I love Exalted. Man, this deck looks sweet. Got some lands there. Some pretty lands. Some Theros lands. I recognize the art. And some gain lands, some bounce lands, the command tower, of course. Just tap lands. And I still feel like they should be putting a shock, one shock, in each of these commander decks. Just keep them going, keep them reprinting. Just, why not? And that's it. Alright, so let's get rid of that land and that box. And now we'll lay this all out. So, as you can see, there's kind of a glut in the 3-drop slot. It's really taken over the deck. And what that says to me is that they expect you to play multiple cards, draw and play multiple cards a turn. Because, really, if you're going to curve and then have at least 6 mana to play 2 or 3 spells a turn, and they're 3-drops, that sounds reasonable for a long game. 1-drops, there's some ramp. There's actually quite a bit of ramp. It's funny, Sol Ring is the only artifact in the entire deck. Go figure. You've got all manner of sweet enchantments, but that's going to be more visible when we go to the deck comparison, so let's get to that. So let's start by looking at the deck in greater detail. It's got an obvious enchantment theme, as we could see from the insert, and you can see even some of the creatures are enchantments. So let's look at the creatures first. There are 25 of them, ranging from 2 to 7 drops with a glut on 3. And for the non-creature spells, we also noticed there was a glut on 3. But if you look at the number of enchantments versus the number of creatures, there are actually as many enchantments as there are creatures. And that's not what I'd say is usual for the layout of a deck. So obviously enchantments are going to be a real thing. And we can see that because a lot of the cards in the deck care whether you control an enchantment or whether you play an enchantment or whether there's an enchantment or the number of enchantments that are in play. As for removal, there's really not much to speak of. This deck seems to be a drop things until your opponents run out of answers style deck, and you're supposed to draw more cards than your opponent, hopefully. So, having seen this, let's take a look at the other Bant-colored deck, white, blue, green colored deck that was available in Commander 2013 edition. The commander of which was Derevi, Empyrial Tactician. This card has actually since been banned as a commander because of its ability. So let's look at it. Bant is its casting cost. It's a 2/3 flyer, bird wizard, and whenever Derevi Empyrial Tactician enters the battlefield or a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may tap or untap target permanent. That alone is powerful, but the reason that it's been banned in Commander is 1. Green, white, blue. Put Derevi onto the battlefield from the command zone, and you can do that at instant speed, and it's not casting, so you don't have to pay commander tax with that. So this was an incredibly powerful commander in the right shell, and the shell that they produced for it was okay. It had some interesting cards, but it was not optimized. None of these decks are really optimized, although I think they've gotten better at balancing them. But let's have a look at the deck. So, we can already see some similarities with the number of 3-drops in this deck, but that's where the similarities seem to end. As for enchantments, there are literally 8 of them in the Derevi deck, and most of them are just there as removal or as value cards to let you do things when there was a cycle of curses in that particular commander set, and so you got the Bant colored ones from there. It gives you elves that you can untap your permanent to generate more mana, things of that nature. So it wasn't an enchantment heavy deck the way the Estrid deck is. It was just sort of an honestly fairly aggressive Bant colored deck. The Precon that more closely resembles Estrid is from Commander 2015, and it is the Call the Spirits deck, starring Daxos the Returned. Daxos is 1 white-black for a legendary creature zombie soldier. He's a 2/2, And whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you get an experience counter. And you can pay 1 white-black to put a white and black spirit enchantment creature token onto the battlefield. It has this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of experience counters you have. So experience counters were the thing from the 2015 series. But more importantly, you get experience counters by casting enchantment spells with Daxos. So looking at the deck, you can see there are a lot more enchantments. There are enchantments as low as 1, with a bunch of them at 3 mana, so cast 2 things in a turn, or possibly activate an ability and cast a spell. And they go up as high as 6 mana, which is already looking familiar. This was more of a creature strategy deck, as the point of having all these enchantments was to get more and more creature tokens, etc. But it still shares that sort of strategy. It also shares the flavor association of those commanders being from the plane of Theros, or at least one of the possible commanders. Daxos in this case, and I believe Kestia is the name. Yeah, Kestia, the Cultivator, is the name of the possible commander for the Estrid deck. But there's really not that much more to say about the comparison. Aside from being the 2 decks that favored enchantments, there's really not that many similarities. One is in white-black and one is in white-blue-green. So the similarities are kind of outweighed by the color focus. Black just isn't that similar to blue-green. They do share certain cards which are just kind of good white enchantments, but there you go. So just like last week, it seems we've got a deck which is hammering a theme, in this case enchantments, and it seems like it should be very easy to figure out how to play it right out of the box, which is what you want for a Precon. If you want to pick it up, you should probably go to your LGS, your local game store. Don't pick these up from like Walmart or whatever. Support your local game store. It's where you can actually play Magic. Also, if you enjoy this channel, you should probably be subscribed to it. And also, check out our other stuff. If you liked this video, we stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, sometimes Wednesdays. And also, we do a podcast, The Vault, which is all about MTG Arena. So do check that out. Links are all in the description down below. And come and join me next week when we will be looking at Aminato, the Fate Sifter, in her Subjective Reality deck. So yeah, come and join us again soon.